Ubisoft has been under nearly constant fire for fostering and protecting a culture of harassment at their studios, and employees don't think they've done enough to fix it. A new lawsuit filed in France seeks to hold the company accountable. In even more Ubisoft news, they will be announcing a new Tom Clancy game today. This and more on the Daily Reset. Good morning, gamers, and welcome to the Daily Reset, brought to you by the Emergent Gamer. Subscribe and tune in every morning to get all the biggest news stories as you start your day. We're on all major podcast platforms, and we also upload our show to our YouTube channel if you'd like to listen there. I'm Trip Zero, and this is your news for July 19th, 2021. Ubisoft is under the microscope again for its history of institutional harassment and its perceived lack of action over the years since accusations began. A new formal complaint against the company has been filed in Bobigny Criminal Court in France by Solidaires Informatiques, a French workers' union. This is the statement they shared on Twitter. The complaint targets Ubisoft as a legal entity for institutional sexual harassment for setting up, maintaining, and reinforcing a system where sexual harassment is tolerated because it is more profitable for the company to keep harassers in place than to protect its employees. Ubisoft was accused of cultivating a harassing work environment in a wave of accusations that started a little over a year ago. Multiple heads of departments resigned or stepped down, including Sergei Haskot, the company's chief creative officer, and Cécile Cornet, the company's global head of human resources. They have since released statements detailing the steps they've taken to address the culture and deal with the people responsible, but many vocal employees have felt like they haven't done enough. This was echoed in the reporting on the Assassin's Creed Infinity reveal, where employees talking to Bloomberg talked about internal online message boards filled with discussions on Ubisoft's failure to address employee concerns. Solidaires Informatiques said that their goals with this newest lawsuit are the harassment culture at Ubisoft ending, along with reparations and justice for the victims. Rumors have surfaced that the Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch is complete. The Metroid Prime games are fan-favorite entries of the Metroid series, when Nintendo first transitioned the game to 3D space and a first-person perspective. The trilogy got a release on the Nintendo Wii, and with Nintendo's tendency to re-release previous console generation titles, rumors have been constant about the possibility of the trilogy coming to the Switch. The newest rumor comes from journalist Jeff Grubb of VentureBeat on a recent episode of his Grubb Snacks news show. Grubb says that not only is the port ready for release, but that Nintendo is holding the game, quite possibly to be a marketing beat for Metroid Prime 4. Also to blame for delays is Nintendo's QA testing process during the pandemic, which focused resources on projects in order of importance. Nintendo has also not addressed their current status of Metroid Prime 4, a project that began in 2017 and then was scrapped and entirely restarted development in January of 2019, as the company was not happy with its progress or direction at the time. Back to Ubisoft, the company is announcing a new entry in the Tom Clancy universe of games today at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Fans have a few theories on what will be announced. One is a new entry in the Splinter Cell series, the first since 2013. Another is The Division Heartland, a new free-to-play action game set in the Division universe. Details are very sparse on what kind of game Heartland will be, but general consensus is some kind of multiplayer shooter. Footage of this mysterious game was shared by IGN yesterday on Twitter. They revealed a 25-second clip of a first-person shooter-style game with player abilities similar in style to Apex Legends or Overwatch. This has some thinking about a third option, a leaked Ubisoft project called Battlecat. Leaked in early June on Twitter, with the tweets disappearing soon after, Battlecat is allegedly a first-person multiplayer shooter that combines characters from Splinter Cell, The Division, and the Ghost Recon series. The shared internal documents describe a class-based shooter with separate skills and abilities. This description matches the kind of footage that was shared yesterday, but in an article about the leak, Battlecat was described to Video Game Chronicles as in early stages of development. Whatever this game ends up being, we'll know for sure by this afternoon. Ubisoft has indicated that it has many projects and plans in place for its many franchises, and stated they are shifting priority to create and support more free-to-play multiplayer experiences on top of their full single-player games at the same time. Warframe's digital event Tennocon took place over the weekend, which had developer digital extremes showing off not only new Warframe content, but some huge announcements for the long-running franchise as well. In Warframe, a fast-paced third-person action shooter MMO, gamers play as Tenno, who fight against evil alien races in a far Earth future using powered mech suits called, you guessed it, Warframes. Warframe has always been a free-to-play game, releasing in March of 2013, with slow initial growth hampered by low player counts and a stigma at the time about the quality of free-to-play games. Over the years, Warframe has grown considerably and proven the free-to-play model effective as one of the first games to wholly go down that road, adding content to the game at an aggressive pace and balancing the free and optional paid aspects of the game. In 2019, the game hit the 50 million player milestone. The game's next expansion, called The New War, is scheduled to be released later this year. New expansions usually focus on adding large new open areas, but this expansion will be heavily story-focused in a new way for the series. The player will experience a story campaign alternating through 3 new characters, which is a first for the series, as you normally just control your own Tenno. Also announced was an upcoming release of the game for mobile devices, full cross-play and cross-save for the series no matter where you choose to play, and future expansions and content being released on the same date for all platforms instead of the staggered PC first then console release model they've had in the past. All in all, more positive movement for a game series that's been incredibly influential in the looter-shooter genre and keeps adding value for players who decide to spend time in that world. That's going to be it for Monday, July 19th, 2021. Subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get up to speed in the gaming world every morning with me, your host, Trip Zero. And be sure to find and listen to our main show, the Emergent Gamer podcast, live on twitch.tv/emergent_gamer on Wednesday nights, and then on podcast services the next day. Get the news with me and hear the in-depth discussion with the rest of us. I'll see you tomorrow.